Hey, what's up, Gamingtrend? This is Dan over at Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio. We are joined today by Jeremy from Zero Strategy Games, and he's going to take us through his take on a dungeon crawler called Shuffle Dungeons, which is coming to Kickstarter later this summer. So, Jeremy, tell us a little bit about what we got on the table today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So, like you said, this is Shuffle Dungeons. It is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. The ultimate goal of the game is everyone's going to kind of start out on the edges of the map and slowly work their way towards the center to defeat the boss that's there. Once you defeat the boss, you win. So you win. It's fully cooperative. You win together, you lose together, and there's obviously power in numbers. So try to get into your companions as fast as possible. It's extremely.
Yeah. So one rule in a role-playing game is that you never split the party. But here you split the party.
Yes, exactly. It was too easy when everyone's starting together, so we split the party and made you have to find your way back.
I mean, it makes it for a challenge.
Yes.
Very cool. So how does a turn work?
So before I jump into a turn, because this will be huge, is one of the major mechanics is each card is double-sided.
Yeah.
So on one side, you will see that there is a room card, and that can be placed in the dungeon as we kind of already, we're mid-game here. So you can kind of see how it fills out the board. On the other side, you're going to find an equipment or possibly a snack, which is a consumable, that you can equip to your character to power them up. So every time you're playing a card, you have to make a choice. Am I going to power myself up, or am I going to build the path to victory?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a twist on your normal, card playing mechanics.
So who wouldn't want an opossum with?
I know, right?
It's great.
Yes. So we'll put that back as a trap, and it's nice because every card is going to be the same on the type, right? So here, all traps are going to be weapons.
Okay.
All wards, which are the purple, will become armors, and all of the blue, which are shrines, will become spells.
Okay.
So you always know what's on the other side.
Very good.
Essentially. So a turn can be as simple or as not as complicated, but it can be pretty. There's a lot of steps you can take. So over here on the handy dandy player turn card, you see that there's essentially 6 options you can do. You can do all of them. You can do none of them. You can do them in any order. So on your turn, you can play cards. You have cards in your hand, which I meant to have some, so I'm going to steal some of these. You can play them as you want. And like I mentioned, you can build them into the dungeon, or you can play them on your character. You can trade cards. You and I were in the same room. We can trade them.
Okay.
Easy enough. You can move. Each character has a speed stat, and you can move that many spaces in the dungeon. And you can break that up as much as you want. If you want to move a space, do another action, move again. Totally fine. Yep. You can draw, and that one's a little bit different. So part of the theming here is you're exploring the dungeon and building it as you go. So anytime you're in a room that has a doorway that's open with nothing in the space, you can perform the draw action, and you would draw that many rooms.
Okay.
So in this situation, I would draw 1 because I have 1. If you're in this room, you get 2. And yep. You can use any card's power. Each card has a unique power. Sometimes it'll be a weapon that gives you a certain buff. It could be a room in the dungeon that has a benefit. You could use those. And then last but not least, you can find monsters.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. And so one of the things you said is we have to get to the monster, and so I'm assuming that there's other monsters on this board that come out, and the Witcher room and things that you have to fight.
Yes. So we started with 2 here. So you'll actually see, I planned this perfectly. There's a monster card on the top of the deck. So anytime you would perform the draw action and there's a monster, that monster immediately gets added into the dungeon.
Gotcha.
They have a treasure value, so this one has 3. So I would take 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
And then I would attach this to the room that I'm in. So now this monster is now threatening me, and I would have to either run away or attack.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's boons to attacking, like so you get the 3 cards if you beat the monster.
Yes.
So how does an attack work?
Yeah.
They have attack strength.
Yes. So we have attack strength. They have attack strength. I'm just going to flip it around so they're all oriented the same way. So your strength or your attack power is based on these numbers here.
Okay.
So my character is 3, yours is 3, and you would be adding the attack that is on your weapon. So I have a total of 8, you have a total of 6. The monster also has an attack of 7, but you'll notice that there are dice here and there's dice here. So every player inherently has 1 die.
Okay.
So I would take this green die, and I'm going to roll it. The monster, this one has 1, but they do, like, the Witcheroo has 2 here, so they would roll 2, but in this situation, it's 1. So I would take 1 for round. Take the 2, you roll them together. That's great for me. So I would have an attack of quick math, 14.
Okay.
And the patch card would have an attack of 8, so I would.
Yeah.
Um, there are modifiers and other things throughout the deck that would, change that roll. And it's kind of an all or nothing system. So we're, like, if you win, you just deal 1 flat damage.
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter how wide the difference is. It's always 1 damage. And there are things that modify damages, but for the most part, it's 3.
Very cool.
The other part to it that I'll just touch on real quickly is the cooperative aspect.
Yeah.
If you were in this room with me, I could ask for your help.
Yeah.
And so if you were to help me, you would give me an additional die, which obviously helps your odds of getting into combat. And most monsters are kind of powerful and are designed to require 2 people.
Okay.
Which is, the very important part of getting together.
Great.
Don't split the party. Get together as quickly as possible.
So as you're making your way through the dungeon, you're going to have chances to add some different things, armor, some stuff about spells.
Yes.
So eventually you get to the monster, and I see a couple locks. So how do you unlock the monster?
Yeah, so it's super simple actually. All you have to do is build a room connected to that door.
Okay.
And the reason we do that is, if you knew what you were going to fight, it's not exciting.
Oh, absolutely.
So that gives you that little bit of mystery of what you're going to fight. So as soon as I would open that, I would flip this, and this is what we would be fighting.
Okay.
So you can already tell this one is 7 and 1 die, that's 7 and 2. So they're very powerful. Most bosses have a flip effect, so they immediately change what is going on in the dungeon as soon as they start. Yep. And
So is there anything that prevents you from just rushing straight towards the monster, or do you try to work together to get back together to level up so that you're just not rushing the end game and trying to win?
I mean, you can rush. There is nothing stopping you. If you have 3 cards and you want to build 3 cards the first time, you're welcome to. You're not going to win, but you're welcome to. No, we wanted to give players the freedom to not necessarily have a restriction to get there. But ideally, it would be a conversation, right? You're not guaranteed to start with a weapon. Sure. So if you come to me and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to rush the boss," I'm like, "Well, I can't help. I really need that weapon before we get started." Yeah.
And you really just the more you explore, the more you can get different power-ups, different things as you go through. So, yeah. And so, how many different bosses do you guys have in the game? So some replayability.
Yeah. So we have 10 bosses, and I'm gonna flip this back over to kind of show how you would determine which one. So this one is 2 doors.
Yeah.
2-player boss.
Okay.
The other bosses will have 3 doors for 3 level. So we have 3 for each level, and then we're gonna have a really, really powerful boss. That's if you're really looking for a challenge, you can go for that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
Well, I love the replayability of this song, and just obviously when you get through a deck of cards, you're not going to get through a deck of cards the entire game.
Right.
So every game's going to be different.
Yes.
How many different heroes did you have?
There's 8.
There's 8 heroes.
There's 8 different heroes.
Lots of combinations against different things. So
Yes.
I love it, and then makes it expandable in the future if you get some.
We have ideas. Yes,
I'm sure.
for sure.
There's always ideas.
Yes.
How much do you edit to get to that first thing?
Right.
iteration?
Absolutely.
Great. And so you said this is coming to Kickstarter
Yes.
later this summer. Do you guys have a date set yet?
We don't have a hard date set. We're currently aiming for mid-July, so close.
Okay.
But we're just finishing up a couple things.
Any special plans for the Kickstarter that you want to share about to people? Or?
Yeah. We have a couple of really cool add-ons that we're doing for the Kickstarter. They will be available afterwards as well. But the one thing that isn't displayed here is we have a neoprene mat that will actually help with the grid.
Okay.
The way that we set up, which we skipped over a little bit, it helps you define that grid, so it's not too much of an issue, but it's just nice to have it, right? We'll be doing some custom dice. We'll be offering sleeves, which might not be much, but it's hard to find square sleeves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've tried. Just a couple things to kind of enhance the quality of life, make it a little bit for you.
Very cool. And so this is the first game that you guys are publishing it as a company. So how did this one come about? What led you to Shuffle Dungeons? How did you get there?
So we've actually been working on this for a while now, under a different company. And so when we did a merger this year, it was kind of like, the reason why we started teaming up with these other groups. They're like, hey, we love what you have.
Yeah.
Let's get it across the finish line. But we just kind of wanted a unique take on the dungeon crawling. It's like everyone loves a dungeon crawler, but we really love the whole building aspect. I love Betrayal, and I kind of love that whole you build it as you go. It's a different dungeon every time. But then also, we tried it competitive at the beginning, and it just, we kept getting feedback, make it cooperative, make it work together, and it just kind of, fell into place.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, there's always space for more cooperative games. I mean, so if I want to sit down and play with one hero or do dual-handed, is that how you guys do?
Yep.
Players? So,
Yep, you can play, if you're playing solo, you can play with as many characters you want, and again, just, pick the boss appropriate to them.
So, I mean, we're always looking for good cooperative, solo games that we can get in the space. And I love the replayability, like you said. I mean, some people don't like the randomness, but I think the randomness of this is that fog of war. It gives you some of the strategy to it. You can kind of adapt to what you got, and the fact that the two-sided there, you get a choice when you get two-sided cards. It gives you a lot of flexibility. So I'm looking forward to getting this one to the table. Hopefully we can get some more coverage up, and we'll hopefully get you guys some more information from our perspective over here at Gamingtrend. But this already looks great. We're excited over here. So if they have any more information, they want to get any more information, that's the best place to get to.
Yes. So we're on social media, Zero Strategy Games. You'll find us on Facebook and Instagram. ZeroStratGames.com. Probably the best places.
All right, awesome. So go check it out and make sure you follow them for that Kickstarter, and make sure you stick to Gamingtrend for all of your gaming news, reviews, and previews. Well, thanks, Jeremy, for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.